I'm Theo.
And I'm Juliette.
And this is Apologies Accepted.
We offer an entertaining look at some of the big issues in history by examining public apologies of the famous and infamous.
We're looking at politicians, serial killers, actors, and you.
Send us a public apology you would like to make, and we'll read it on the air and give you a chance to redeem yourself or just get some guilt off your shoulders.
We're here for you. Once a week, maybe more if you're really, really sorry.
Hi, everybody. This is Apologies Accepted,
the podcast.
And I'm not Theo.
And I'm not Juliette.
And I am dying to know what is going on with Not Juliette today and this week.
Well, first of all, what's going on with Not Juliette is the sound is hopefully a bit better. Careful listeners last week might recall that my voice had special qualities that... There's a knob on the stupid microphone, and I had to buy a new microphone because I didn't bring the microphone with me when I left Austin to come out to Palm Springs.
Oh,
and
wow.
so, yeah, because thought I was so smart, but I'm not. Anyway, I was like, oh, this button that says gain, this knob that says gain, that sounds good. Let's turn it up to 50% and see what happens, right? Because it can only be, what else is it there if it's not a benefit? And so it wasn't benefit. And I learned a little bit about audio, not really. I didn't learn anything about audio recording. I know shit about it still. But so the gain button is working, and so am I. All I am doing is still building and cleaning and building furniture. I sound like I'm actually building furniture. I'm,
Putting furniture together.
Tightening screws, very IKEA-y, right? But let me tell you what is going on that's not related to something I can complain about, except for this one piece. So we have so many hummingbirds in our backyard.
So cool.
It is incredible. And I noticed that there's 3 or 4 hummingbirds in our backyard. I mentioned that to Terry, and he sent us 2 hummingbird feeders. And, of course, it came in an Amazon box and doesn't say who it's from. And I was like, where the fuck are these from? It's a mystery thing. As Terry showed up, and I was like, look at this hummingbird feeders that I got. And he was like, yeah, I sent them to you. Remember you told? And I was like, I remember telling, yeah, okay, no, it just, no. So turns out hummingbirds are mean. They're the dolphins of the sky.
Oh my God, they rape each other?
I don't know if they rape each other. They certainly do attack each other. They chase each other off, right?
I see.
So there's that. There's rabbits. We've got rabbits. So many little rabbits. They are so cute.
Boy,
yes.
I'm thinking about you planting a garden and the rabbits eating all of your zucchini or whatever.
Well, there's not enough room to plant a garden, so the rabbits get to be a delight for as long as we own this house. Which
are they rabbits or hares or cute little rabbits or big floppy eared hares? Or
okay, I forget that you're a nature girl, so
all right.
Well, it's like you've been going out to Ajo and New Mexico for years, so you know these desert things, yeah. And I have seen rabbits too. But I don't know. It's a rabbit. They're small and they have tinier ears.
Rabbits.
Yeah, and then they're black and white striped. No, I'm totally kidding. They're not black and white striped. But they're rabbits. So they're not. I don't think they're hares because they have the little fluffy tails. And this morning, as I was leaving the house, I saw a bobcat in our front yard.
Oh, my God. Really?
It was maybe 30, 40 feet from me.
Damn.
And it was crossing the street from our yard to our neighbor's yard, and it was stalking a bird.
How big was it?
It was as big. It was probably 2 Henrys, so that doesn't tell you anything. I mean, I'll send you the video.
Damn.
So the video is from a distance, but the cat was large. It's a large-sized cat. Maybe it was the size of Henry and a half. But, I mean, whatever. When I looked at it, I was like, oh, wow, that could eat Henry.
Wow.
Yep.
That's very cool and also very scary.
It's very cool, but now that I know that there's a bobcat and we're in its territory, I will be more attentive when I send Henry outside. He won't be going out on his own anymore.
Especially at night, I guess.
Oh, I guess night would be the more...
night and like dawn and dusk, right? I don't know. It's probably too hot in the day for them to be wandering around. But
well, I'm going to say it was dawn because, of course, I do wake up here at like 4 o'clock in the morning. So I was out by like 6, maybe it was 6:30. But, whatever. And now for the weather update. It was 76 degrees this morning.
Nice and cool.
My body went into shock. It was 115 yesterday. I just didn't even know what to do.
Yeah.
And then I came back home because I went out to get coffee. And everybody needs to know every instant of my life. Who cares what I was doing? And I came back in. I was like, open the doors and windows. No, Theo, don't do that. It's going to be hot in an hour. It's going to be 90.
Yeah, totally.
So there we go. And I'll leave it there. That's it, because all I'm going to do, everything else is complaining. But
it's good complaints. So.
Well, they're minor complaints compared to other things I could be complaining about.
Right.
Like, I don't know, politics.
Right.
We'll let that one go.
Politics is, how about that JD Vance? Let's not even start.
I mean, if we start, we won't finish. That'll be the problem. Yeah. And maybe we'll save that for the tail end, but I am delighted with the political situation. I think the Harris campaign is smart. I think they are quick, and I think they've got their finger on the pulse of the nation, and they are winning the meme game.
Yeah,
and
sure.
Hoorah.
Yeah, fingers crossed that things keep going this well and something doesn't come out of her closet or whatever, but I won't even say that. I won't even think that.
Well, I mean, even if it did, what could it be that
I know, right?
It doesn't equal
26 or 36 felonies or whatever.
Yeah, so. I mean, come on. What? She yelled at somebody once in a meeting?
Yeah, probably. They'd make a big deal out of it, though. They would.
Oh, of course they would. But yeah, it's what they've got. Anyway, super delightful. What about you? What's Shake and Bacon?
I still don't have a chair. People who've been listening for a while know that I've been looking for a chair for my kitchen desk setup. Don't have a chair. I'm sitting here practically on the floor. It's not pleasant, but I stopped looking for a chair because I've given up. But I would really like to have a chair, so I might have to start looking again. I'm going to get my hair cut. See, these are little things that are very important in my life, but I need to talk about. Going to get a haircut. Today's the San Francisco Marathon, so they're going to be running down the street between me and my haircut right around the time I need to go get a haircut, so I can't take an Uber, so I'm going to have to walk. So I have to give an hour for walking between here and there, which is going to be exciting. Other than that, work is working. That's about it. Not much to say. Maybe we should talk about Delta Airlines.
Well, actually, what I love is that when you get your haircut and you're walking back home, half of the San Francisco Marathon is going to get to see your new haircut.
My beautiful new haircut. It'll be amazing.
It'll be like it's on parade.
That's right.
But the spectators are running by.
So, all right. Today we're talking about Delta, and it's not about the CrowdStrike disaster. We might talk about that next week or the week after or sometime in the future, but not today. Today we're talking about their apology earlier this month for a now deleted post on Twitter that appeared to sympathize with a social media user who complained about flight attendants wearing Palestinian flag pins on their uniforms. So let's take a step back and see what happened. A Twitter user called I Like Teslas, which tells you all you need to know about them.
I'm sure they're a wonderful person.
Yeah, exactly. Posted 2 pictures of Delta flight attendants wearing pins that represented the flag of Palestine. And in this tweet, they said, since 2001, we take our shoes off in every airport because of terrorist attack in U.S. soil. Now imagine getting into a Delta flight and seeing workers with Hamas badges in the air. What do you do? And then there's 2 pictures, one of a very well-dressed flight attendant who looks very sharp, somehow with his uniform on, and a Delta pin and a Hamas flag. God damn it.
Whoops.
A Palestinian flag. Yeah, which is very different from the Hamas flag. The Palestinian flag looks like a flag. The Hamas flag is green with Arabic script on it. And then a woman who's looking like, why are you taking my picture? Into the camera with her Palestinian flag and her Delta pin. So that was that post. And Delta replied to it the next day. And the person who was posting for Delta said, "I hear you, as I'd be terrified as well, personally. Our employees reflect our culture, and we do not take it lightly when our policy is not being followed." So a generous interpretation of this response might be that the poster, like me, confused the Palestinian flag for the Hamas flag. The Palestinian flag has become a symbol of solidarity for the suffering of the Palestinian people in the Israel-Hamas war, but is very different from the Hamas flag. So I think that's my generous interpretation of it. But I think what probably happened is that people wanted to make a big deal out of this and therefore tracked down two pictures from separate flights of separate flight attendants wearing a Palestinian flag and made a big deal out of it to embarrass Delta. So I won't go into details on the Israel-Hamas war, but I will mention that in the war, about 2 million people across the Gaza Strip have been displaced internally, including some who have been displaced 9 or 10 times. More than 38,000 people have been killed in Gaza, and over 1,200 were killed in Israel during Hamas's October 7th attack, including soldiers and civilians. And interestingly and embarrassingly for the United States, the House recently passed an amendment preventing the State Department from citing the Gaza Health Ministry's death toll statistics for the war. And that's the only organization that's keeping death toll statistics. So as The Guardian notes, that is the only entity tracking death data in Gaza. Banning these figures effectively halts any conversation about the death toll. So if that's made law, then that would be, as I said, extremely embarrassing for the United States, in my opinion. Back to the Twitter Fufara, the Council on American Islamic Relations, the U.S.'s largest Muslim advocacy organization, slammed Delta for the racist anti-Palestinian tweet, as they called it, and demanded an apology. And in their tweet, they said, whether this racist post on Delta's X account was approved or unauthorized, Delta must apologize and take steps to educate its employees about this type of dangerous anti-Palestinian racism. Bigotry against Palestinian Americans is absolutely out of control in workplaces and at schools, and it must stop. After the backlash, Delta deleted its post and said, on Wednesday, we removed a reply that was not in line with our values. We strive for an environment of inclusivity and respect for all in our communities and our planes. The employee responsible no longer supports Delta's social channels. We apologize for this hurtful post. Neither flight attendant was fired for wearing the pins, as both were compliant with Delta uniform guidelines, and the airline said, we're in touch with the flight attendants to offer support. However, Delta is shifting its pin allowance policy effective July 15th. Beginning then, only U.S. flags will be permitted to be worn on uniforms. Previously, pins representing countries, nationalities of the world had been permitted. We are taking this step to help ensure a safe, comfortable, and welcoming environment for all. We are proud of our diverse base of employees and customers and the foundation of our brand, which is to connect the world and provide a premium experience, the airline said. So Delta has gone, because of this complaint, this one tweet, that Delta has gone from allowing flight attendants to wear pins of their nationality to only allowing Delta flight attendants to wear U.S. flag pins, which I think is bullshit.
It's terribly unfortunate and unfair.
Yeah.
Right. But at the same time, oh gosh, so this is where it starts to get hard, right?
Yeah.
And I had this great thing to say, and it's like flown out of my head completely. Yeah. So, of course, we're for freedom of speech.
Sure.
And, of course, we support people's differing political viewpoints, right?
In some cases.
Well, you got to. We've got to. What I don't support, or I'll say what we don't support, is when people's differing political viewpoints entail shutting our political viewpoints off, down, right? Unleveling the playing field, if you will. That's not even a word. And so I do get the point of freedom of speech. And the little badges, little pins are fun, right? They tell you lots of stuff about somebody. If you're wearing the Irish flag, oh, great. Are you Irish? Is it St. Patrick's Day? What's going on?
Yeah. What language you might speak, for example.
Sure. But I am surprised that in this day and age, in the 21st century, I'm surprised by two things. And thing one is that you're allowed to take pictures of people while they're at work and post those online, right? Yeah. Really surprised by that's allowed. I don't think you should be allowed to take a photo of a flight attendant, period, while they're working. But then thing two, when you are at work, right? You have your freedom of speech, but you are employed to represent the company, right? And their speech. And that's where I'm surprised that Delta was allowing people to wear pins and badges, because there's just too many. What do you do if you're wearing a MAGA pin, right? Or if you're wearing...
Well, it was only their country, the country they're from.
Oh, okay.
So they're allowed to wear the Delta pin and then the pin of the country that they're from.
So specifically other countries and not pins like you might see at Starbucks, right? Like, oh, I'm a PFLAG person, or oh, I'm LGBT. Yeah. Okay. That's different. So they really shouldn't have changed their policy.
Yeah, I agree. I think I guess they're
it's an overreaction.
Well, this causes us trouble. Then what if somebody wears a flag of Israel? What if someone wears a flag of Ukraine? What if someone wears a flag of Russia? It's all just going to get us in trouble no matter what. Let's just ban all flag pins, which is sad because, like you said, you can tell a lot. You can assume a lot about a person by the flag, the pin that they're wearing, and it could, cause you to strike up conversation with somebody, and it connects people in a way. So it's too bad that has been taken away for a stupid Twitter post. Yeah,
well, and then to get conspiratorial, so fun that was on Twitter, fun that the user is I like Teslas, right?
Yeah.
Fun that it went viral.
Right.
No way could Twitter ever manufacture or alter the algorithm or force a specific tweet to go viral. Right. And I don't think that is what happened, particularly because Elon Musk has been pretty anti-Semitic.
Yes.
Oh, duh.
Yes.
No, duh. It's not that I don't understand. I don't understand the Israeli-Hamas war, and I will not be offering any commentary on it. Nobody needs to hear from me on that, right? At all.
Okay.
But yeah, I was thinking, oh, right, he is anti-Semitic, so he would be supporting Hamas. But then, oh, wait, those pins. Okay, never. I thought he was pro-Israel. I mean, he's anti-Semitic, but pro-Israel. I'm not. I don't know. I don't know anything about it either. I shouldn't even be speculating. I don't know enough about Elon Musk on purpose to say anything about that. But there are people out there who are anti-Semitic.
Yeah,
the Jews killed Jesus, but then they're pro-Israel because there's this belief in a sector of the evangelical Christian community that whatever with Israel, it brings Jesus back to earth faster. It
brings about the end of the world or
something.
Exactly. The second coming
These people aren't going to be happy until they are dancing in nuclear dust.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
And it's like, if you're in that big a hurry to go see Jesus, go see him.
Amen to that. So I already read the apology. Is there anything else you'd like to say before I talk about the apology itself?
Oh, specifically not. The Israeli-Hamas situation is maybe one of 4 topics that I never talk about. But here's what I think.
Okay.
No.
All right. Fair enough. So the apology, which was, I will read it again real quick. On Wednesday, we removed a reply that was not in line with our values. We strive for an environment of inclusivity and respect for all in our communities and our planes. The employee responsible no longer supports Delta's social channels. We apologize for this hurtful post. Was there an expression of regret? No, not really. Was there an explanation of what went wrong? No, we have no idea why that person felt that it was okay for them to spew their nonsense, so to speak, on Twitter. Was there an acknowledgement of responsibility? Only indirectly by removing the employee who made the post from the social channels. Was there a declaration of repentance? No. Was there an offer of repair? Did they say they were going to provide training to their social media people? No. Was there a request for forgiveness? No, because Delta went further in banning all flags from uniforms. So I do not accept the apology from Delta. I think they did a dumb thing, and I give the apology to...
So I also do not accept the apology from Delta. It's a pretty weak PR response.
Yeah.
I would give it a 3.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
But
you're nicer. You're 1 point nicer than me.
Always. In all ways. Everything.
Absolutely.
All the time. 3 because that's a number that popped in my head. It's not even an average PR thing. And it really does take away a thing that I know the flight attendants actually enjoyed, because the flight attendant, I forget the official name of the union, but the flight attendant union wrote a letter to the CEO of Delta just saying, hey, are you kidding? But no. And, it gets to that line that I don't know which side to fall over onto, right? And that's an individual's right to self-expression versus you're being employed by a corporate overlord.
Yeah, which is coming down more and more on the side of the corporate overlords these days, it seems.
Oh, 120%.
Yeah, 120%. Wow.
Yeah. But when Kamala Harris is president, that'll all get fixed. On January 21st, it'll all be
great. It will all
great.
be in rainbows and sunshine when Kamala is president. So do you have an apology expected, or who's sorry now this week?
I have an apology expected, and it is from Delta Airlines.
Oh.
I don't know if you heard, but they banned pins recently. No. So they're being investigated by the Office of Transportation, Department of Transportation. Those are the words I'm looking for. Hi, Mayor Pete. And it's because they are still scrambling after the big tech outage. They've had to cancel 5,000 flights since last Friday, and they are the only airline that is still struggling to get back up onto their feet. Part of their explanation has been, and stop me when this sounds familiar, our crews are scattered all over the place and we don't really know where they are. And so we can't ask the pilot in Kansas City to fly to, I don't know where Kansas City really is, because I understand there's two of them, to fly to Nome, Alaska.
Ridiculous.
JetBlue had that same problem, you guys, but they actually had a good reason for it, because their technology was from the 1970s. Yours isn't. You know what's going on. So I'm expecting an apology from Delta Airlines for the 5,000 canceled flights and a good solid reason why.
Did you know that your apology expected, your expectations have come true, because they actually have apologized, and they are giving people, they say 10,000 miles. Initially they gave people like a $10 gift card from Papa John's or something. And then now they're going to give people 10,000 miles and reimburse their travel expenses or whatever they have as a result. So maybe we can talk about this in an upcoming episode, like I said, and talk about the apology and see if it was sufficient.
Well, we are solving problems left and right.
Hooray.
This is a problem we solved. I didn't even realize we'd solved it.
Yay. So I have another apology expected, and this one is Elon Musk. Again, during a recent interview with Jordan Peterson, Elon Musk claimed that he had been, quote, tricked into letting his daughter Vivian Wilson receive gender-affirming care when she was 16. He then went on to call gender-affirming care child mutilation. He told Peterson, "So my son is dead, killed by the woke mind virus." After the Peterson interview, he posted on X that his daughter, quote, was born gay and slightly autistic, two attributes that contribute to gender dysphoria. He added that he had known Wilson was gay because she liked musicals when she was 4, and who didn't like musicals when they were 4, and would pick out jackets for him and call them fabulous. Musk concluded he was not a girl. Vivian Wilson then replied on Threads that the anecdotes about clothes and musicals were fabricated. "This entire thing is completely made up, and there's a reason for this," she said. "He doesn't know what I was like as a child because he quite simply wasn't there. I've been reduced to a happy little stereotype. I think that says a lot about how he views queer people and children in general." So I think that Elon Musk should apologize, but I guess I don't really expect an apology because of who he is. So I guess I can't really call this an apology expected. But yeah, I think that he should apologize. Just for everything in general.
Oh, what's that, Elon? You're sorry? Oh, he did. I don't know if you heard recently, but he just did this moment.
I didn't realize you were friends with Elon Musk.
Friends is a real stretch. And we'll leave it there, because that opens the doorway for, well, maybe he does know Elon.
Maybe he does.
Maybe he does.
So I guess that's it. This was a quick episode.
This was a quick episode, but it is the third rail of conversation that one should never grab, and that is anything dealing with Middle East conflict.
Yeah.
Nope, don't know enough about it. Not touching it. got opinions. Innocent people should not be killed on both sides. And it's possible that both parties can. I'm not going to say there are many fine people on both sides because that's not true, right? But yeah. And goofily, just to stretch out the show for another 5 minutes.
Yeah, sure.
Goofily, we do, at least I do have a frame of reference that I can touch upon to help me understand a little bit about what people on the street might be feeling about the Israeli-Hamas conflict. And that is the IRA, right?
Oh,
right. And so let's talk about the IRA instead of Hamas. But, in that regard, they were a terrorist organization. They killed innocent people, and they became a political arm. And I don't know where Sinn Féin is now in regards to Irish politics. For all I know, wasn't the president of the country? Like, here's where I should shut up.
I'm not jumping in here because I
could tell. I saw the look on your face. I was like, but I know that somebody from Sinn Féin ran for the presidency of Ireland, and then also when we get into Ireland, I'm like,
ignorant.
Theo, was that Northern Ireland or Ireland? And then it's like, well, which one is the country that isn't part of the UK, and then which one is? And it's like, I'm married to somebody from Scotland. I should know this stuff by second nature.
Because you're married to someone from Scotland?
Yeah, I don't know if you know that Scotland and Ireland are basically the same country. Like, they both don't love the English, but they, one part of them is sort of tied to the English and the other part is blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so I do have that frame of reference for a terrorist organization becoming a political organization and for people feeling aggrieved by politics, but there's better ways of handling it than terrorism. And Christian nationalists in America, I'm speaking to you specifically.
Yes, no terrorism, please.
Yes, let's all calm down.
Just no terrorism, please.
Oh, I read a tweet this morning. Sorry, I'm still on Twitter, where this lady said, mind you, she's this lady. She could have been the president of the Associated Press. Uh-huh. Right. I don't know who she was. She sounded pretty knowledgeable, and she used some numbers and bullet points. And so it did feel pretty convincing. And so she said, we've read the Heritage Foundation playbook, and we know what's going to happen when Harris wins. And these states that split their votes, their electoral college votes, right, and these Republican-controlled states are not going to submit their electoral votes. It'll have to go to Congress, and Congress will then force through a Donald Trump election. Wow. And then the Supreme Court will enforce that decision by Congress, right?
Wow.
And then she said, so Biden can declare martial law, and under martial law, he can blah, 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 blah. And so it's like, hold on. Remember when Trump tried to do that and when we didn't like that? And he didn't do it that way, though? That would be the smart way to go about it. But yeah, and so, oh God, it's so bad. I hope the Democrats tomorrow starts the Supreme Court reform.
Yeah, supposedly. I hope that
so we get to find out what the rules are.
Happen. Yeah.
Please, the Roberts Court has been a joke and remains a joke. And is that his fault, or is that just the state of our union? Result of both.
I don't know. I'm not going to argue either way. I don't know enough about it.
Same. Why do we have a show?
We just want to judge other people for their apologies.
And we do quite well. All right. On that note, I guess we have we've filled enough time to hold our heads up high this week.
Today. So stay cool, cucumbers.
And don't trip potato chip.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Apologies Accepted, the podcast.
You can find links to the articles and the sources in the show notes.
To submit an apology or find out more, visit us at apologiesaccepted.net, where you can also find our merchandise.
We're on Twitter at Apologies Accepted.
And on Instagram at apologies.accepted.
You can support our important work at Patreon /Apologies Accepted.
And fuck Facebook.
Bye.
Bye.